Friends, today I would like to discuss you regarding how to design a training program. So first of all, I would like to know what is design. According to Oxford Dictionary, design is a plan or scheme conceived in the mind of something to be done. So the preliminary conception of an idea that is to be carried into the effect by action. So this is design. So we would like to have some idea on what the training has to be given. So to whom it has to be given. That plan is actually the design. So this design is very important for the implementation of training program. This is having impact on. We would like to before preparing a design, we would like to have a clear clarity of since if we are a training institute, we would like to know who are the trainers. So and also trainees, and also we would like to know and also departments which are actually impacting on this training program. So this design is most important. Design of a training. Without design of the training program, any training program cannot be done. So this is having an impact on the time, effort, and resources. Actually, we are actually putting a lot of efforts, time, and resources. So if these resources and time and effort are to be utilized in an effective way, our design of the training program should be very much accurate. So otherwise, all these will become waste. So training program, while designing a training program, it is a cyclical process in nature. So we need to identify the training needs, why we are giving the training program, why we have to give training. After that, we need to plan and design the training, and then we have to implement the training and then assess the results. So this is like a cyclical process in which after all these four components, like identifying the training needs and planning and designing the training program and implementing the training and assessing the results, this cycle is actually basically addressing the performance issue of the trainees or performance issue of job holders. So to improve the performance only, we are giving the training program. So let us have an example like the trainees are need to be trained on how to use Microsoft Word, for example. So if you are actually intending to train our job holders on how to use Microsoft Word, then we need to know what is their current standard of performance regarding this using this MS Word. Are they computer literate? Do they have adequate keyboard skills? Do they want to learn MS Word? So these are the basic questions we need to have that in mind. So after that, there may be the participants may be are having the varied degree of their knowledge and skills on this MS Word, usage of MS Word. For example, I am taking this. Some may be very competent. For them, the whole training program may not be required. They may require an update on that. Some may be not knowing anything about MS Word. Some may be computer illiterate. For them, how we are going to train this? So when the participants are coming for the training program, they are having the varied levels of their performance. So to keep all these in mind, which we should have a very good design of the program. So for that, we need to. Uh, what is the standard of performance we need to achieve? Uh, do because of this training program, we need to have that clarity on our mind. So for this, we need to set the standard of performance. So when you are setting the standard of performance after the training program, what is the level of standard our trainees need to achieve? So this standard of performance is to be set in consultation with others, like employer and other technical experts. We need to discuss and then set the standard. So for this, we need to create learning event. So this is most important. So in this training, after designing a training program, it requires training program is there. In that training program, training course will be there. In that training course, there is a learning unit will be there, and different sessions will be there. So this learning unit is most important. It is having a specific learning unit will be designed based on the specific task of based on the specific task. So while we are designing the training program, we should have a systematic approach to training program. So if we are not having any systematic approach, then the whole process of training will not be actually yielding any results. So whether we are actually keeping in mind the to solve the performance problems of the participants or job holders, whether they are having specific performance problems, or to help them to uh, develop those programs. So in this, first we would like to know what is a training program. So we already knew what do we mean by the design of the training program. So what is the training program? A schedule of the training specification in terms of units of instruction or learning experience set out in chronological sequence and showing the time allowed for each, the place, the method of instruction to be used, and the person responsible for giving it. So basically, training program is a schedule of the training specification in terms of units of instruction or learning experience set out in a chronological sequence. We are actually sequencing our learning units or learning experiences and giving some time allocated for each of the learning experience. So where we are giving the place also, where we are giving the training program, the method of instruction, what are the methods we are employing in providing the training, and the person responsible for giving it. This is a training program. So basically, as we already discussed, when there is a performance problem, we are providing training, and after the training program, the performance needs to be enhanced. Sometime when the uh, job holder or when an employee is an incumbent or is an induct is actually entering into the profession, then we give induction training program. So we are actually training the job holders or employees on is the specificities of the tasks or the job description in which he or she need to work in that employment, in that job. So it is an induction training program. So other training programs we actually design based on to improve their skills, to improve their knowledge, or to develop some attitudes. So this is the main objective of training programs. So when moving further, so why aims and objectives, setting the aims and objectives is very important in developing the training design. So actually aim is actually intention. So what we are intend to achieve, that is the aim. Objective is something like outcomes. After the training program, what we are actually getting the outcomes as a result of our training program. So aim is something like what you intend that the learner should achieve. What you intend that learner to achieve, it's a broader thing. When you come to objectives, what will be achieved as the outcome of the training program, like improving the performance, the change in knowledge, change in behavior, and acquiring some skills, or changing the attitudes, opinions. So basically, aim is like an intention, objective like is an achievement. So just for example, let's keep for example for this aim to train clerical staff to use photocopier. In the office, there is a photocopier machine is there. So we are actually want to train clerical staff to use the photocopier. Or in this aim, we use to ensure, to improve, to develop. These are the words we use. And the objectives also, actually there are three types of objectives. One, performance objectives, training objectives, and enabling objectives. What type of performance we need to achieve in the employees, and in that next stage is what is the training objectives, and then enabling objectives. Enabling objectives is like something for the learning process itself. It's for the basic unit of learning, for the learning units. So while rating the objectives, we need to keep in mind that it should be used in as action verb. It should not be vague. Objectives should be specific, measurable, achievable, and basically they should be smart. SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, SMA, reachable, or result oriented, and T is time bound. So there are specific action verbs we need to use while actually framing the objectives. For example, uh, the uh, whole list of action verbs are there. For example, adapt, to adjust, to administer, like that, to align, to analyze, to answer, apply, appraise, arrange, assemble. So there are assess, assist, attach, calculate, calibrate, classify, compare, compile, like that, compute, complete, decide, define, demonstrate, describe. These are all the action verbs. These are the verbs we need to use while framing the objectives. Develop, devise, diagnose, discuss, find, fit, identify, illustrate, indicate. There are a whole lot of things. Instruct, interpret, list. After the training program, the participants will be able to list these items like that. Listen, load, locate, manage, measure, modify, perform, prepare, like that. Recognize, record, replay, review. So these are there are a whole lot of the action verbs are there. We need to actually look at those objectives, those action verbs, and then we need to design or frame the objectives. So when it comes to knowledge, actually when we are actually want to improve the knowledge or update the knowledge, when we want to we want our participants or employees to acquire certain skills, or when I already discussed about changing the attitudes, or we want to bring some attitudes in them. So there are specific action verbs are there for framing the objectives. For example, for knowledge related thing, define, describe, explain, identify, list, state, select. These are the action verbs we need to use while framing the objectives. For skills, these are the action verbs we need to use: adjust, assemble, check, fit, load, maintain, operate, repair. So for attitudes, agree, distinguish, help, indicate, recognize, verify, like that. These are the few examples of for knowledge related objectives, and then skill related objectives, and then attitude related objectives. So then we need to come. Next thing is design based on learning unit. So a training program usually consists of several interrelated activities to meet training needs. We already know what are the training needs. So based on the training needs, we develop certain activities. These activities are interrelated activities. So a training program therefore include course, and then learning units and practical experience. These are the three things a training program consists of: course, learning units, and practical experience. So these things, these learning units are sequenced and managed. So they are arranged in a sequential manner. So what do we mean by learning unit? Learning unit is a basic building block for the design of the training program. So it's a basic building block for the design. So a learning unit is having 4 stages. Again, this is like a cyclical thing. We are having objective of the training program. So this objective actually discuss on what we need to achieve after the training program. What is the outcome of the training program? At the end of the training program, terminally, what is the change? What is the change in knowledge, change in skill, change in attitudes we are expecting from the participants. So for this objective, we need to know what is the entry behavior. So when a employee come for the training program, attending the training program, so what is his entry behavior? What is his initial knowledge? What is his initial skill? What is his or her attitude? So after that, learning experience will come. So these learning units, learning experiences are designed sequentially. After that, performance assessment. In the training program itself, performance assessment will be done. So these are the 4 stages of learning unit. So this learning, when designing the learning event, we need to keep in mind several points in mind, like design brief. We need to create a design brief for the training program. It actually talks about the design of the training program. After that, we need to define and decide the tasks. Second one. So what is the task means? These are the set of activities which leads to some measurable outcomes. So what are the tasks we need to actually planning during the training program? The third one is relate a task to a learning event. Fourth one is resource constraints. There may be many resource constraints while designing the training program. There may be lack of the place, maybe resources, money, availability of trainers. There will be a lot of constraints will be there. We need to keep in mind all these resource constraints. And then fifth one is selecting content. So content is basically on what are the objectives we are actually framing. Based on the objectives, we are actually selecting the content. And then the sixth one is what are the training methods we are going to employ in the training program. Like few are trainer related, trainer centered methods are there. Few are trainee centered methods are there. So which are the good ones means trainee centered training methods are very effective and impactful. The reason is the trainer centered, for example, trainer centered methods, lectures, lessons, demonstrations, computer based training systems, these are all trainer centered approaches. So whereas trainee centered approaches are case studies, projects, group discussions, group exercises, role plays, experiential methods of coaching, these are all participatory in nature. And when our trainees come for training program, when we are actually employing only trainer centered approaches, they may not participate actively, since there is a concept called andragogy. Like andragogy is a knowledge or a method in which how to train adults come with a lot of their experiences for the training program. So when we are actually dealing with them in a training program, we need to involve them, include them, make them to participate in the training program, so that they will participate in the training program and the effectiveness of the training program will be enhanced. So when we are actually discussing, there are a lot more training. For example, sequencing the content. Next one is seventh one is, after designing the methods, sequencing the content. When we are actually sequencing it, we need to keep in from mind that known to unknown. Start from what is known for the participant and to unknown. Start from something called concrete and then to abstract. Basically, we are making them the simple to complex, general to particular, observation to theory, simple to complex, overview to detail. Like that, we need to sequence the training program. And then selecting the performance assessment measures, and then selecting the media. So we need to select the media. What are the media we are using, and all that we need to use that. And then deciding the trainers. After sequencing the content, we need to select the performance assessment measures. So during the training program, we need to check how the performance is being improved or actually enhanced. So we need to assess the trainees' the performance during the training program. Later, the ninth one is selecting the media. Say media means whether what we are actually using in the training program, like whether we are doing a projector or handouts, what we are using, or so what are the media we are using, and then deciding the trainers, deciding the place of training program, deciding the time, and then developing the training resources, reviewing the design. So these are the things in which we need to keep in mind. So in that during, related to training methods, so I would like to discuss few training methods. There are so many training methods we can use in the training program. Like so, here is a list of training programs we can use. Training methods like active action maze. It is something like action maze is there. Action learning is there. So these are the two training methods we can use when we would like to have individual learner decision making practice, and then real problems or projects, action maze or action learning. Brainstorming, we can use this brainstorming as a method of training in which all participants are made to think, and then they come out with ideas, so that we are not negating any idea, we are receiving all the ideas when we are using this brainstorming method, and then we are listing and then discussing each idea. Or games like business game or exercises, so we can have a business game. So here in this business game or exercises, like a learning exercise in which groups of trainees operate as management teams of imaginary companies. It is just like a management training program. So they in this training method, so basically they trainees actually they think that they are like management teams, and then through game or through business exercise they learn here. Case study method, we can have a few cases like good case or bad case or something like any case for the learning program. The participants will be given a case to study, and then they will be asked to reflect their ideas or thinking and then discussing. So this case study method is having the main users are problem solving, analytical skills, gaining confidence in decision making, changing attitudes, teamwork. These are the users of this case study method. Coaching we can use. Coaching, what is coaching? Systematically increasing the ability and experience of the trainee by giving him or her planning tasks coupled with continuous appraisal, advice, and counseling by the trainee's supervisor. So, coaching is a continuous and systematically increasing the ability by the manager to the employee. This is used during the training program, and it can be used after the training program in the real working situation, working environment. Also, this coaching is used. This is the main use is the development of knowledge and skills. Computer based training is another method is the training method. This is for knowledge learning, concepts, procedures, facts, principles. This computer based training involves the use of computer as a teaching medium. They will use the computer as a teaching medium and either or learning resource in an educational or training system. Used as a teaching medium, the computer's program controls the presentation of instructional material to a learner. Basically, computer based training is using our projector to project PowerPoint presentation, or even as a learning resource also. Computer acts as a tool for the learner, providing calculation, simulation, modeling, problem solving, and information facilities. In this case, the computer does not necessarily teach in any direct sense. Example, a flight simulator in air crew training. So another method is a demonstration method is there. Here, a trainer demonstrates some experiments or some activity, and the participants they observe the demonstration and then they can learn. So for main users is showing correct or incorrect actions, procedures, giving learners a yardstick to aim it. Discovery learning, another method is there. Discussion method is there. So discussion method, group discussions we use. Distance learning method is there. Group exercises method is there. So in this group exercise, the main users are develop interactive interpersonal skills, team building activities. Guided reading is there. Some handouts will be given to trainees or participants and they will be asked to read. So this is basically to update their knowledge or information. Guided practice is there. Learners are actively engaged. So guided practice is a method in which the learner has to perform the operation or procedure being learned under controlled conditions. So when we are actually intending to make the learner to learn some operation or some procedure, guided practice will be used. And then interactive video is another method is there. In-tray experiences. In a tray will be there will be some experiences are actually written in some type of sheets or some in papers. They can take those like pick and speak or pick and act, something like in-tray experiences. A form of training which attempts to simulate the working situation by setting the trainee realistic tasks. The trainees are presented with papers such as letters and memos. Letters and memos will be there, placed in the in basket and in tray, to which they respond individually. They will pick the paper or a letter or memo, they will respond. The results of the exercise are then analyzed, discussed and assessed on the basis of decisions made. So the in-tray experiences exercises, the main users are problem solving, development of analytical skills, for gaining confidence in decision making, etc. Lecture method is there. I already discussed it. This is the trainer centered approach. Lesson is there. On the job training, on the site or desk training. So this is on the job training is a method in which when the training will be given, when the employee is on his or her job, in the course of his action only this training is being given. Performance aids or job aids is another method. Programmed learning is another method. Project method we can use. Role playing we can use. Other training methods like action centered leadership method, algorithm method, a flowchart method, assertion training, assignment, behavioral therapy, counseling is also a method, critical incident technique, encounter groups, field trips. We can take the participants to a field or to a site or outside the classroom, so that and then they may be asked to observe certain things, and then after they come back and we can ask them to reflect upon it. Forums, group dynamics, these are the methods. Job rotation is a method. Kapner-Trego training, managerial grid, mentoring is a method, micro teaching is a method. There are a whole lot of methods are there. Open learning, psychodrama is another method, repertory grid technique, self-development is a method. We can ask the participants. Self-development is an interesting one. I will read out the concept that individuals have a responsibility for their own development. When adults are having the capacity to learn on their own, so this is a method in which we ask the participants or employees to read or to learn a specific knowledge or tasks. This includes what is to be learned, how is to be learned, how the learning is to be organized, implemented and assessed. Help should be available from the employing organization to encourage, counsel and assist the individual. So another is there, seminar method is there, training method, simulated training is there, simulation is there, simulator is there. Simulator, we are actually seeing this as a training method in driving, when we are actually we would like to drive a car or drive a vehicle. Simulator is used. Support group is there, symposium is there, syndicate is there, synetics is there, T group training is there, tutorial method is there, training package is there. So these are the whole lot of methods are there. So these are the methods we can use in the training program. So when we are talking about the designing the training program, we need to keep in mind the objectives in mind, the performance issues, and then the objectives of aims and objectives, and the learning events, sequencing it, and then what are the methods we are going to use already discussed, and then the last part is evaluating the training methods will also come. So what are the methods we are using, how we have to evaluate the these methods, and also at the end of the training program we need to assess and validate the and evaluate the training program in which we have given. So this can be done like reactions, or we may ask them to fill a sheet, or we may ask the participants to explain their experiences, or we can give a checklist or questionnaire to respond, so that they can fill that questionnaire. We can give the questionnaire through in the form of Google Forms. So like that, after that we can come to know the effect of the training program. We can evaluate it during the at the end of the training program. So this is the in brief I actually explained the how to design a training program. Basically I used this design of training course, which we have actually undergone training during the training program in Administrative Training Institute, at Administrative Training Institute ATI in Mysore. This module is prepared by Department of Personnel Training, Government of India. This is a very comprehensive information we got when we trained regarding this how to design a training program. I hope you have actually gained some information on how to design a training program. This is a very vast area, so that you need to look in terms of a comprehensive approach, so that a good training program can be designed. So thank you so much.